Hey guys, so principal cellist asked me to talk about balancing schoolwork and music in college, and I think that's really important, and it's something I've touched on indirectly in a lot of videos, but we're going to have one devoted to it. So the first thing, and this is going to be a little bit ranty, and it's a little bit unrelated, but I think it's really necessary, and that is your academic courses are important. It's For a lot of people, it's easy to see the importance of music history and music theory and the things you take within the music school, but your gen ed requirements are also important. Some of them relate directly, like history courses are very easy to apply to music because it gives you the historical context for the music that the person's writing in. Um, Shostakovich is an easy example. If you know about the Soviet Union, you know why Shostakovich wrote the way he did. And that is covered in music history as well, but when you know more about the history without the music involved, it can really affect your musicianship. English is great because you learn how to write, and as musicians, we do still have to actually write things. Even if you're a performance major and you're planning to be in an orchestra, you still have to be able to write a bio, you have to be able to write a teaching statement. There's all these things you do have to be able to coherently express. And there's these things where you have to teach people and you have to be able to speak in public. And there are very, very good reasons to take gen eds, and don't blow them off. So there, that's my rant. Okay, so the first thing to help balance these things is make a schedule. And obviously it should have your classes and your rehearsals and everything else like that on it, but it should also include practice time and homework time, and even your fun things. And I know it sounds super lame for me to say you should schedule your fun things, but that's the reality of it, is you are a student, and yes, college is great, and you get to hang out with people, and you have so much freedom, but you still have to use your time effectively to be the best musician and be the best student that you can be. And if that means literally scheduling your life because that's the only way you're going to do it, then fine. And everyone's schedule is different. For me, I'm a very intense person. I'm just kind of throw myself into anything I do, as some of you probably know at this point. So my schedule was probably more intense than some people would like it to be, and that's fine. But having a schedule and sticking to it as best you can is really important. That being said, when you're going into your freshman year, which is first year for those of you who are not in these states, I have reverted apparently, you are going to have to adapt to a new way of life. You have that freedom. And you also don't have assignments nearly as frequently as you would in high school. So that means that you have to kind of experiment to find the right balance of practice time and homework time and fun time. So if the first few weeks you're kind of flailing all over, don't worry about it too much. Just think about it rationally and adjust. If you feel like you're falling behind in all of your academic courses and you're super prepared for your music courses, then maybe cut out half an hour of practice time a day and give that to your academic side. If you feel like you're kind of failing at all of these things, then probably have to cut out some of the fun stuff for a while. If you feel like you're super overwhelmed with your music courses and really on top of your academic courses, then obviously the balance has to switch in the music direction. But basically, you're juggling and you're trying to keep all three in the air. And that takes some practice. I just used a freaking juggling metaphor. I'm so sorry. Anyway. And a big thing, for me at least, is consistent work in your academic classes. It's really easy in music courses to do that, especially performance-based one, because you practice every day, as you should be, though you can take breaks. Please take breaks. But you really have a consistent work ethic there because you have to go into your lessons every week and produce. But it's harder when you have 3 papers and 2 exams the whole semester. And I know this is going to sound like the uber nerd, but starting it early and just doing a little bit of work every day or even just twice a week can really, really help you not have to pull all-nighters and not have to skip practice time to finish a paper or to study for a test. And yes, studying for tests isn't really as easy to do over a long period of time, but especially with papers and your readings, doing a little bit every day rather than just doing it the day before is super, super helpful. And this is terrible, and in an ideal world, I wouldn't have to say this, but sometimes you have to let things slide. Sometimes you will have to have a ref lesson, or you will have to skip some readings, or your theory assignment will be kind of like, might be okay, but probably should have been better. That's fine. We aren't perfect. And you can't always control what happens. But if you have a plan and execute it, it's a lot easier to keep up on things. That being said, use your support system. You're in a group of people who are all going through the same thing, who are in your year. So create study groups, share notes, have them read your papers, like use your support system to help you not have to do as much. And that sounds terrible, but that's the reality. Is the more you get them to help you, the more time you guys all have to practice and to do the things that you actually want to do, and to actually enjoy the fact that you're in college and you aren't living with your parents, or if you are, you still have more freedom. Just use the resources you have, and if you're still struggling after 3 or 4 months of trying to figure out that balance, ask your professors. Talk to your professors. Talk to your teacher first, because usually they're the ones you have the closest relationship with. But if you're really struggling in a course, go talk to the professor in office hours, explain to them, I'm really struggling and I'm not really sure what I can do, and see what they say. Because I lived with 2 professors for 17 years of my life. I know that they want you guys to succeed. They aren't trying to screw you over. They're trying to teach you. And sometimes the way that they're teaching doesn't work as well as it could for others. So if you go to them and talk to them and try to work out something between them, that's also great. And it can really, really help. It's not a sign of weakness in any way. It's rational self-preservation, quite honestly. So I hope this is somewhat helpful. If you guys have specific questions or want me to talk about this further or anything like that, please let me know, and I will see you guys tomorrow on the 365.